I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion. Like many of you, I was concerned about going out into the world and doing something bigger than myself, until someone smarter than myself made me realize that there is nothing bigger than myself. I was two people my whole life. I was in the living room entertaining people, doing my thing for the company and trying to relieve my mother, who was suffering. She had rheumatoid arthritis and everything under the sun that was nagging at her, and she was depressed. And I wanted her to be free, and I wanted her to realize her life was worth something because she gave birth to someone who was worth something. And then I would go into my room, I was a little kid, and I would sit there and I would try to figure out what it meant, what it was all about. Why are we here? What is this? It's our intention. Our intention is everything. Nothing happens on this planet without it. Not one single thing has ever been accomplished without intention. One day, I read something from Buddha that said, all spirituality is about relieving suffering. And I suddenly realized, that's what I'm doing in the other room. And I'm aligned. My purpose is aligned with this. I really cherish that. And we are all one thing. Sometimes I think that's the only thing that's important, really. It's just letting each other know we're here, reminding each other that we're part of a larger self. I used to believe that who I was ended at the edge of my skin, that I had been given this little vehicle called a body from which to experience creation. Then I learned that everything outside the vehicle was part of me too. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. I watched the effect of my father's love and humor and how it altered the world around me. And I thought, that's something to do. That's something worth my time. And he treated my talent as if it was his second chance. When I was about 28, after a decade as a professional comedian, I realized one night in LA that the purpose of my life had always been to free people from concern, just like my dad. And when I realized this, I dubbed my new devotion the Church of Freedom from Concern. And I dedicated myself to that ministry. How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out. My choosing to free people from concern got me to the top of a mountain. Look where I am. Look what I get to do. I did something that made people present their best selves to me wherever I go. I am at the top of the mountain, and I was, and the only one I hadn't freed was myself. And that's when my search for identity deepened. I wondered who I'd be without my fame. Who would I be if I said things that people didn't want to hear? Or if I defied their expectations of me? But you guys are so ahead of the game. You already know who you are. That peace that we're after lies somewhere beyond personality, beyond the perception of others, beyond invention and disguise, even beyond effort itself. You can join the game, fight the wars, play with form all you want, but to find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. It can be rough out there, but that's okay. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever.
This was in like 1987, 85,
yeah. I had nothing at that time, so it was like, it just made me feel better. At that time, all it really was for me was kind of making me feel better. I would drive home and think, well, I do have these things, and they're out there. I just don't have a hold of them yet, but they're out there. I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 3 years. And I dated it Thanksgiving 1995. And I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. Then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on Dumb and Dumber.
Visualization works if you work hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't just visualize and then, you know, go eat a sandwich.
As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. Imagination is always manufacturing scenarios, both good and bad, and the ego tries to keep you trapped in the multiplex of the mind. No matter what you gain, ego will not let you rest. It will tell you that you cannot stop until you've left an indelible mark on the earth, until you've achieved immortality. How tricky is this ego that it would tempt us with the promise of something we already possess? Your job is not to figure out how it's going to happen for you, but to open the door in your head. And when the door opens in real life, just walk through it. And don't worry if you miss your cue, because there's always doors opening. They keep opening. And why not take a chance on faith as well? Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it. You are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. You are the vanguard of knowledge and consciousness. A new wave in a vast ocean of possibilities. On the other side of that door, there's a world starving for new ideas, new leadership. I've been out there for 30 years. I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is.
The knowledge has been evolving, you know. I believe that I had to become a famous idea and get all the stuff that people dream about and accomplish a bunch of things that look like success in order to give up my attachment to those things. It's been a part of the evolution of ego is to spend your first half of your life thinking you can add to yourself. And it looks great, and you got a cool car, and you got nice clothes, and you've done something that people admire, but it can never fulfill you. You can never be happy. It's not where happiness comes from. People talk about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is just from happenstance. Whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, you know, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me. A friend of mine who's a spiritual teacher, his name is Jeff Foster, his take on it is that you should think of the word depressed as deep rest. Your body needs deep rest from the character that you've been trying to play. And, you know, I dealt with depression, you know, a few years ago, and people still think, well, he's going through, you can tell he's depressed. And it's not. I have no depression in my life whatsoever. Literally none. I have sadness and joy and elation and satisfaction and gratitude beyond belief, but all of it is weather, and it just spins around the planet, you know? It doesn't sit on me long enough to kill me.
The only thing that separates you from an African American or an African Canadian is an idea, you know, and the weather, the adaptation to the climate, and whatever it is. I don't believe in any of it. The feeling of wholeness is a different feeling than meanness.
I'm finding that people are, for the most part, accepting of another kind of way of looking at things or letting go of character.
I'm not trying to tell the people how to live their lives. I'm just having fun, trying to transmit that to the audience and trying to get people to feel that. I'm being a clown through all these people that I do.
They're all characters that I've played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
I'm just making a conscious choice to perceive challenges as something beneficial, so that I can deal with them in the most productive way. You will only ever have two choices, love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart.